What's up, everybody? This is Jose from Southern Life. On today's video, we're going to be talking about my 2023 GMC Sierra. I have owned this truck now for about 6 months, and it's at 7,000 miles for its first oil change. We drove this truck brand new off the lot, and today we're going to be reviewing this vehicle. Now, for all you guys who are telling me, why didn't you buy a Toyota? It's better. We did test drive a Toyota Tundra. I actually liked the styling of the Toyota Tundra more. However, the Toyota Tundra that we test drove, which was brand new, it was red, the same color as this, did not even make it out of the parking lot of the dealership. In other words, my Tundra that I would have bought wasn't even good enough to make it out of the dealership. And that's how I ended up with this GMC right here. I ended up in a GMC because the Toyota truck that we test drove didn't even make it out of the dealership parking lot. Now, interestingly enough, this truck broke down on me before the first oil change. Yes, this truck was already back in the dealership before the first oil change. Can you imagine that you pay nearly $70,000 for a pickup truck and it doesn't even make it to the first oil change? Well, that right there is GMC for you. Now, before I bought this GMC, we test drove a Tundra. The Tundra, the seat cracked right there before we left the dealership. And interestingly enough, I was in a Camry right before I bought this truck, and the Camry also, the entire plastic came off the driver's seat. Thus, because I know Toyota, and here I am buying a very expensive truck, and I'm already seeing the same problems I've had before, it discouraged me from wanting to buy the Tundra, because if it's breaking in the dealership parking lot, and it happened on both sides, as soon as me and my wife sat down, both of the seats cracked. And that was kind of our sign that, you know, Toyota has had this problem for decades and they won't fix it. So now I live in the Bradenton, Sarasota area, and over here I have Ferraris, I have Lamborghinis. There's a lot of money in this metropolitan area. Yet, when I go to the beach in my truck, everybody, I mean, I'm talking, people will wave me down and tell me my truck looks cool. So everywhere I go, this thing is definitely, well, it draws attention. The color, the design. Now, the base price for this pickup truck is about $45,000. So what added nearly $30,000 to this truck? Well, things like the lift kit and little options that add up. The wheels are Toyos, the rims are bigger. There is that leveling kit. There is the cat skin seats. And as far as options go, there really isn't that much to this truck. Part of that price tag as well are warranties. Now, we talked about the truck breaking down before it even reached the first 7,000 miles. Before the first oil change, it was already back at the shop getting repaired. Well, I already knew that coming into getting a GMC, so that's not a surprise to me. When I bought this truck, I knew that buying a GMC, I was going to have to get all the warranties I could because I've already owned this truck. And the crazy part is, despite the fact we're approaching $70,000 on this pickup truck right here, you know, the craziest part is that's not even a VA, because under the hood is a 2.7 turbo. Now, I already had a 2.7 turbo. That was a black truck that we had on our YouTube channel. And if you guys remember, that truck went back to the dealership. I lost $8,000 because that truck at 11,000 miles was already having serious electrical, engine, and transmission problems. So why would you ask yourself, if you've already had this engine and it was a piece of crap, why would you go back to it? After all, that seems like a logical question. If something doesn't work out, why would you get it again? And the answer is pretty simple. Today in the United States, whether you're buying a Dodge, a Ford, a Toyota, it doesn't matter what you're buying. Everything that's brand new is garbage. So you might as well stick to the brand you like. My first 2.7 was the first year the engine came out. I think it was a 2020 or 2021. I bought it cash off the lot. showed up with the money. I paid $45,000 cash, and I walked away with the truck, title in hand. And that truck, again, didn't even last 12,000 miles before I returned it because it had so many problems. But I learned one thing about GMC. If you get some warranties and it breaks, it's on them. But if you buy it cash, well then, there's less incentive for the dealership to want to fix it. But if you have a car note on it, well then they're kind of stuck having to fix it. So if you're financing a truck and you're going to get all the warranties, then you might as well get something you like. And I have always liked GMC trucks. This truck also has a few electronic features that are pretty cool. Now I'll tell you, if you're looking at 2023 and 2024, a brand new dash interior design came out. And with that option, it doesn't really make sense to get to 2023 unless you really like the style of this truck. But you're getting a 4x4 truck that has a 100,000 mile warranty at that price tag. And well, that's what things cost today. You know, I was in a Toyota Camry. It was small, uncomfortable. This thing here, people love. Like, you know, my wife is a realtor. You know, she's got to do showings and stuff. So, you know, like there's times where she'll have, you know, 3 or 4 people that she's got to take on a showing or something, you know, husband, wife, kids, uncle, grandpa, whatever. And, you know, as people are buying houses and stuff, she's got to bring them in here. And this truck is nice, high, it's very safe. There's plenty of room in here for a lot of people. I mean, just look at the leg room in there. And that is important for what we do. Like with the Toyota Camry, you know, you're not going to go take somebody on a showing in this tiny little car. This is really practical for my wife does on her real estate end. So what broke on the truck? It's practical, it's big, it's comfortable. Also, after I got hurt, the Camry was too low to the ground and I needed something where I could sit up higher, more comfortable because of my injury. So it only made sense at that point that we really needed a bigger vehicle. My wife doing showings all the time. You know, plus it's 4x4. I like trucks. I've always been a truck guy, and you know, it is a cool truck. There's no doubt about it. I mean, I'm talking about, I'll go to places where there's Ferraris and Lamborghinis and people are saying my truck is cool, not the Lamborghini. So it's just a really awesome pickup. We also like to go to the beach a lot with the family, and well, you know, if we're a big group of people, me and the wife, you know, 4 or 5 or 6 of us, you can fit 6 people in this truck very comfortably. You know, that thing folds up. You got 3 seats in the front. It means you can throw 6 people in this truck and all your gear in the back. So if you're doing a beach day, which we do all the time here in Sarasota, Bradenton, then a vehicle like this for the family going to the beach is exceptional. And we've made pretty good use out of it. And by the way, if you're moving to the Sarasota, Bradenton area, there's the wife's information. Please only reach out to her for business. Don't reach out to her to talk about my truck or how my day was. If you're calling her, it's about pure business. And eventually we are going to get the little sign put on the truck somewhere to match her business card. So it just made sense that it'd be red and black so that it would match her business card. So yeah, we're also thinking about branding, you know. We want, you know, her business card to match the truck because we're eventually probably going to get the truck wrapped with her name on it or whatever the crap for branding purposes. So in that case, it only makes sense that the truck was red. Besides, all my vehicles have been red. The Camry was red. My Mercedes-Benz was red. The most recent one I had, my first real Mercedes-Benz that I ever had was a red Mercedes-Benz. So I've had a lot of red cars. I just like red because it stands out. And well, let's just be honest, this is about as sick of a truck. As far as aesthetics go, literally, like this truck, it looks cool. One of the most annoying things about this truck is this auto start feature, which is always a nightmare. And also now, every once in a while, ever since it went into the dealership, it's been doing this thing where it won't let me change the gears unless the car, your seatbelt is on. It doesn't do it now, but sometimes it does it. See, now it's letting me do it, but other times it's not. I would say the general ownership of this truck has been a joy. I mean, I've had a lot of cars, and I've had cool cars. 2500s, I've had Mercedes-Benz's convertibles. I've had just a wide array of vehicles, and some pretty cool vehicles. And out of all the vehicles I've ever had, I would say this vehicle has to be among my favorite. For one, I really like this interior design a lot. The 2.7 that I bought in like 2020, 2021 had the same exact interior, and I really like the interior design. It's pretty cool. and I wanted it back. So what broke on the truck? This screen right here would go blank, and then when you put the car in reverse, like I did right now, the backup camera would be frog-eyed, what they call. So that camera there would be, instead of zoomed in right now like it is, it would be kind of like if you just zoomed out a lot, and you can see almost the inside of the guts of the camera. So that was the problem, and it's a very common problem on these trucks. And I can say that with confidence because I am in a 2.7 Facebook group, and 3 other people had the same exact problem the week that I had the problem. So it is in fact a common problem for this truck. This happens a lot to this pickup truck. And with that being a normal thing for this pickup truck, the dealership lied. The dealership tried to blame me for it. They asked me if I had been connecting stuff to the battery, if I had been using these ports, what was I connecting to the truck? I was like, shut up, okay? It's their responsibility. A bunch of other guys are having the same exact problem, but that's the way General Motors works. You know, and Toyota's the same way. They're all the same. These big dealerships are a bunch of scumbags. They know their products are garbage, but then they want to pretend like it's the customer's fault. It happened with me with the Toyota. It's happened with me with GM. But at the end of the day, you have to be firm, and you have to tell them, hey, you know, it's under warranty. You got to fix it, because the dealership was asking me questions like alluding to the idea that it might be my fault that this is happening, which is interesting because it's under warranty and it's an electrical problem, so how could it be my fault? But that's what GMC's dealership staff was trying to tell me. The layout of the truck, there's not much to say. It's very simple and straightforward. The adaptive cruise control on this truck compared to the Toyota Camry is absolute garbage. This is pretty much, it doesn't even function. I mean, it's so garbage compared to Toyota. I don't even know why GMC went through the work of creating this right here if it's garbage. I mean, literally, their adaptive cruise control system is absolute garbage. It's worthless compared to Toyota. I mean, you're talking, Toyota Camry is a $25,000 car, and it has an incredible adaptive cruise control system, and this car pretends to have it, but it's mostly just regular cruise control. Now, that right there is like an emergency stop thing. It's if it lights up red and it lights up on the dash, if you have to slam on your brakes, I can tell you that feature has saved my life like 10 times, because it detects if a vehicle in front of you is on their brakes in front of the car you can't see, is what I think it is, because it knows when you need to stop. So if that thing turns red, you know, it functions faster than your brain, is all I can say. And it saved our lives a few times in emergency situations where, you know, you're on the interstate, all of a sudden cars are stopping and you can't see it. That thing will tell you to stop before you will. And it's not as abrupt as the one on the Toyota, where it felt like the car was in control, and that was scary because you're driving, all of a sudden the car's controlling you, and that felt kind of scary. I think this car has a feature where it won't let you change lanes without using your turn signal, and that has almost caused accidents a few times because you're trying to, you know, get it to go and it won't go. So I think that's been a little bit of a problem, but, you know, it's understandable. But overall, the driving experience on this truck has just been amazing. One problem, though, I will say, is that the sound system is absolute garbage, and I like loud sound systems. You think about the type of person that would buy a red truck with red leather, would probably also want to blast music, and the sound system on this thing is garbage. And again, because you're having all these electrical problems with General Motors, now you're not even able to let's say change out the whole sound system and put in your own sound system, because when something electrical goes wrong, and because it's a General Motors, something electrical absolutely will go wrong. When it does, they're going to say it's your fault. So now you're stuck in a situation where the factory sound system on this truck is absolute garbage. But not only is the factory sound system absolute garbage in this vehicle, but because they are plagued with so many electrical problems, and because GMC is a piece of crap company, you're not able to upgrade the sound system, because if you do, then they're going to say that the reason there's electrical problems is because you changed the speaker system. And that really is a huge problem with GM in general, that, you know, here you're paying $70,000 for a pickup truck, and again, a $20,000 Toyota has a better sound system. So the styling points are definitely there. I also like the visibility on this truck. It feels very safe to drive compared to the Camry, where it felt like people were trying to drive you off the road. You know, the Camry doesn't get a lot of respect on the road. This thing gets a lot of respect on the road. For one, it's bright red. You can see me coming. There's no chance you're gonna miss a giant bright red truck coming down the road. So it feels safe. It's got that 2-inch leveling kit. I mean, I've seen trucks that are jacked up and they're like the AT4s that are like, what, 80 or 90,000, $100,000 trucks, and this truck actually sits as high as an AT4. I've had AT4 owners who thought my truck was an AT4. So definitely the lift kit entire setup makes this truck look aggressive enough to where people even think it's an AT4 when it's not. So I mean, I'm not getting the AT4 package, but you know, pretty cool red interior seats, nice lift kit, big wheels. You know, it's a big, impressive pickup truck, and it's fun to drive. It's cool. I love the comfort of driving it. I love the way it drives. I love the visibility while driving. It's a very stress-free drive, you could say, and it's got 4x4. Now, what I don't like about this automatic 4x4 is that it almost tends to engage itself automatically, and I would rather do that by hand. Now, I'm going to try to show you guys the turbo sound here. You can kind of hear it going. It is a Sunday, so don't worry, there's nobody around us. Kind of wanted to do this video on a Sunday just so that we're you know, if there's no school, there's really no traffic out here, so not really doing anything unsafe. But when it comes to safety, when it comes to comfort, just general, you know, everyday driving, I wouldn't change a thing about this truck. I think I'm a little upset that the sound system sucks. I knew that this truck was going to have problems right off the bat because it's General Motors, and they are plagued with problems these days. But even I was impressed with the fact that it broke at 6,300 miles. This truck was back at the dealership before the first oil change, and that was, even for me, I was like, wow, it didn't even make it to the first oil change. And that speaks volumes of what you get when you buy a truck today. That's why I paid, you know, a few thousand extra dollars to get all those warranties and extended warranties and stuff, because I know the piece of garbage truck that I'm buying. But already General Motors, you know, it's incredible that, you know, 4,000, 5,000, 6,000 miles, your truck already breaks. You take it back to the dealership, and already the dealership's trying to act like it's not their fault, when, like, who the crap buys a brand new truck and it's already broken? So I'm gonna give you guys one last, there's nobody around, there's a guy walking his dog here. I think we're pretty safe, there's nobody out here. I want to kind of stop it and step on it real quick to show you guys the turbo sound. It sounds pretty good, picks up pretty good, up to 60 already. We're gonna slow it down, but you know, it drives very nice, very safe. The turbo sounds are very good. It's a very good performance truck for being nothing more than a 4-cylinder. The black truck that I had, I drove it all the way up to Michigan, and in another state that wasn't Florida, I tried to see how fast it would go, and it only made it to 106 miles per hour. This truck is electronically limited at 106. I would say that the driving and ownership experience of this vehicle has been a pleasure and a joy, and I would recommend it if you are aware that it's a very expensive purchase and it's more of a personal luxury. I wouldn't consider this truck a truck or a work vehicle. I would consider this truck kind of like a personal luxury, or, you know, a personal comfort type item. There's no doubt that this is a styling vehicle, and what you're paying for is the driving experience and the styling points, which are high on this truck, very high styling points. But if you're thinking about the mechanical aspect of it, these 2.7s are pretty much garbage. I don't think these are trucks that are going to last, you know, 200,000 miles or anything like that. These are trucks, you're buying them brand new, and hopefully you can get your trade in and get something else before it gets into the deeper mileage, because I don't think these new trucks are really something you want to hold on to forever. I've always loved General Motors. I've had many General Motors over the years. I've had Toyota, Dodge, Ford, GM, and I just feel that General Motors identifies more with who I am, and I like the brand more. always been in love with the turbo sounds of these trucks. And well, it was when I first bought the first one, you know, the brand new 2.7 back in 2021, I think it was. I bought it just for the turbo sounds, to be honest. I like the way the turbo sounds, and I thought it was cool. And it was just a decision based off somebody who could afford it at that time, and nothing more than that. But anyways, the styling points on this truck are awesome, but make sure you get warranties on it if you're going to get it, because, you know, it's no secret that these things are plagued.